A briefing, and we cross over to our reporter, or rather our foreign desk editor, Sophie Mokoena. A very good afternoon to you, Sophie. Thank you so much for joining us. What updates have you got for us at this point?
Well, thank you, Simpiwa. What I can do, confirm and emphasize is that the Zanu-PF Central Committee meeting has indeed adopted a resolution that President Robert Mugabe must be recalled. The second issue is that they have also agreed that a process must start, the parliamentary process, to remove President Robert Mugabe. I spoke to the chief whip of the Zanu-PF, who told me that on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, he is going to table a motion in parliament that will kickstart the process. On Wednesday, they are going to appoint a committee, a parliamentary committee, that will look at whether President Robert Mugabe should be impeached. And he also indicated that he is confident that come Friday, President Robert Mugabe will be history in terms of him being the head of state of Zimbabwe. But the big question is, will President Robert Mugabe perhaps challenge this decision? Because as I have indicated, that there is a constitutional process and the legal process that the Zanu-PF must follow. Whether President Mugabe will resist, we don't know. What we also do know is that this afternoon, President Robert Mugabe met with the generals of the army, but we don't know the outcome of that meeting, and many predict that it was a process where they are continuing to persuade him to accept the will of the people, but also today the will of his party. I was speaking earlier on with Efet Musekua, our video journalist here in Harare, and he reminded me Robert Mugabe's word at some point in time a few weeks ago, where he said, "I can only be removed by my party." Whether Mugabe will then accept the decision of the Central Committee, it remains to be seen.
Any word from the opposition movement? And I guess at this point, this decision is working in their favor. I mean, the opposition leaders have been calling for the formation of an inclusive transitional government. Is there a chance that they may be sidelined by the army?
I spoke to Patrick Chinamasa, the man who is responsible for legal matters within the party. He told me that this is Zanu-PF issue and there's no way opposition can be accommodated. Remember, there were speculations that Emmerson Mnangagwa is going to be an interim president, and he is going to appoint two vice presidents, and it was said then that the two vice presidents are likely to be people from the opposition or from any other quarter except Zanu-PF, and also the prime minister issue. He told me in no uncertain term that no, it's Zanu-PF matter. They have numbers in parliament. They will see this process through, and Mnangagwa will be the acting president, and the vice president, the two vice presidents will again be Zanu-PF members, because the other issue is that they also took a decision to recall the current vice president Mpoko.
So have you heard so far from the presidency or from the office of President Robert Mugabe as to whether he will step down, given the fact that Zanu-PF has given him an ultimatum that he should resign by tomorrow noon? Have you at all heard anything from him?
For now, I can say no word yet from the veteran leader, but like I indicated earlier on, he is locked in the meeting with the generals of the army. So we are waiting to get more information or clarity in terms of what transpired in that meeting, but I can safely say for now, no word from President Robert Mugabe.
Sophie, what does this mean then for Zimbabwe's economy? Say, if power is indeed transferred from Robert Mugabe to perhaps the hands of Emmerson Mnangagwa, would that see investors flocking into Zimbabwe?
Well, investors, you can't predict. I think they were monitoring the situation. You know that people in business, they always monitor this situation, and they always interact with stakeholders. They knew long ago this was coming, and I think they've made their own decisions. And I guess if President Mugabe is removed as head of state, indeed some will come back to to Zimbabwe. But the reality is, like I indicated to you, Patrick Chinamasa telling me in no uncertain term that this is Zanu-PF issue, and Zanu-PF is going to continue with its policies, even emphasizing that they are going to have a special Congress on the 12th of December where they are going to ratify all these decisions that they've taken. You know that the Central Committee is the highest decision-making body, but you must convene a special conference of members of branches to ratify this decision taken by the Central Committee, which has got powers to take any decision during between conferences. It's similar to what the ruling party does at home. Between conferences, the National Executive Committee can take any decision, and that decision will later be presented to a conference, and conference will ratify. And that's what they told me.
We saw scenes of jubilations from all fellow Zimbabweans from yesterday during those anti-Mugabe clashes or Mugabe must fall protests. So what's the mood currently at this point after the announcement that Robert Mugabe has got the chop from the party?
In Harare, it's quiet. You know, Zimbabweans are very disciplined. They took a decision to take to the streets yesterday, and it was authorized, it was legal. Today, I guess they are respecting the word of the military, because the military indicated that yes, yesterday they can embark on protest action, but today no march or gathering was authorized. And I think they are respecting the security cluster, but and also I guess they are waiting to see whether President Mugabe will resign or what will be his next move.
All right, Sophie, we'll certainly be in touch with you a little later on in the show. Thank you so much for joining us. That is our foreign desk editor, Sophie Mokoena, speaking to us live from Harare.